Next up, we're exploring the realm of robotics. From club meetings to competitions, the VEX Robotics team has it all. Here's live reporter Remy de St. Phalle with the story.
Thank you. Since this fall, robotics is being offered as a sport, club, and a senior exclusive class. In the new Owl building, the robotics team has also been able to enjoy a new space designed for it. The robotics team placed second at their most recent competition, and the team has qualified for regionals, which will require new plans and a new bot. We spoke with some of its members to see how the addition of the sports offering has affected the team.
The club and the sport both work on the same robots, so club members can also compete in the competition. So we're doing the same thing, but the sport just spends a lot more time on the robots.
We also spoke with co-captain CC Song, 21, about her role in the leading of the club.
Basically, we just make sure like everything is running smoothly, so registration for events, like the logistics side, and then also like as a leader, we want to make sure we're helping the new people learn what to do. Even though we're usually split up into teams, like we are the people who are supposed to be helping everyone out, making sure that everyone has the best chance of qualifying at competitions.
On top of that, we also learned how VEX Robotics competition are organized, and in the upcoming competitions that are hopefully in Andover's future.
So the club has been running for like 5 or 6 years, and we compete like up to, I think this year we've competed like 6 times already. So basically each year VEX releases a new game, and then we assign a robot that best suits that game, like, you know, complete the challenge, stuff like that. And then we go to like smaller competitions, and actually this weekend we just qualified for regionals, so we could go on to the next level to hopefully we get to Worlds.
And what is Worlds?
Worlds is kind of like, I guess, the world competition for all of VEX Robotics. There's a lot of people from like China and Singapore because they're really good at this. I think this year it's in Kentucky. And it's just like the biggest competition with like all the best robots who have qualified through all the different stages.
Song also explained the VEX game for this year and the emphasis of the necessity for strategy and focus for all the VEX challenges.
So basically there's like all these towers, and then in the corners there's different sections. So we have like 2 robots in the field right now, and both of these are what we call like stacking bots, because the main goal is to stack cubes as high as possible in these corners. And then the point of the towers is that you can like earn multipliers for different colors. So there's a lot of like strategy involved too when you're at like an actual competition.
Robotics Club member ARIANA VELASQUEZ spoke to us about her role in the past season and the modifications to the robot that the club is making to prepare for the regional competition. We even got to see how the robot worked for ourselves, thanks to club member SQUERI, 23.
So behind me, Anthony, who's one of the co-heads of the VEX club, is, I think, drawing some sort of diagram for some part of the robot. I'm not 100% sure which one. But yeah, we're looking at altering our ramp, which is a pretty integral part of the design, and also our intake mechanism. So what our robot does is that it has an intake that leads onto a ramp that essentially creates a stack of cubes, and then we drive it over to the corner and we lift up the ramp so that it puts a pretty tall stack. Last term I worked on the engineering notebook, which is basically like a report of what's going on in the club, sort of like, I don't know, just generally explaining, like what the club meetings are and writing down calculations and everything like that. So that's what I did last term. And this term I was involved in, and I helped out with the ramp, which we're not redoing, but I helped out with the original ramp. And then I also started to build like sort of an auxiliary robot that we're not using, so that kind of, went away.
Reflecting upon these last few terms, members of the club share what they have learned since the start of the season and their biggest takeaways from robotics.
I think like moving here was really different for us. We thought it was going to be like a huge benefit because in the past like the robotics club had like no money, so we couldn't buy the pieces that we needed, which made it like pretty difficult to compete. We had to like match a lot of things together. So like by being here, like Mr. Barker has like generously funded like everything we needed. That's been a big improvement, but also like having to share the space and not be able to come in like when there's a makerspace event, that's also been pretty different. So yeah, that's one of the challenges we face.
It's really fun to be a part of. I made like a lot of friends through it this year, and I don't know, I also just really like building things, so that's been fun too. I didn't have any robotics experience coming in, so I've learned a lot. That's pretty fun.
Obviously the high would be qualifying for regionals, and I think the low would be in the beginning of the year. We started out fairly poorly, so we had a lot of room to improve.
I would say high is definitely just the people. It's definitely not something I was expecting when I started robotics, but it's a really good community of people, and I've gotten a lot closer with those who I do robotics with. And yeah, it's just really interesting how like we're all working towards this one goal, and that fact that we have this shared goal is something that's very unifying. And even if you don't necessarily know like specific details about other people, like, you still get to like build that community, and I think that's pretty cool. And then lows, it can just get pretty stressful because we have like competitions pretty regularly now, leading up into qualifying for the regional like competition, there was qualifying matches, and those became pretty like frequent, so it was stressful every week sort of getting ready for those.
STEM has just always been interesting for me, and I was lucky enough, like at my middle school we had this little like Lego robotics thing in like 6th grade or something like that, and that was really interesting to me, so when I came here, like I definitely wanted to join VEX, and I think like we're lucky here that we have like such a strong program that supports robotics, and I see a lot of like new freshmen and lowers getting into it as well, so that makes me happy. But in general, I think like just the idea of like the logic behind STEM maybe, and like being able to have like a hands-on aspect, like a design aspect, and also like a strategy aspect to robotics, like really makes me enjoy it.
Remy Phalle reporting.